This is Patito's Gang, and we're up today with an issue that I think should really get everybody to sit up and think some. We often treat it with kids' gloves, but perhaps it's central to why we've not made progress. Diversification of our talent pool, inclusion of all stakeholders in the way that we do things. There's a scramble for public office. People are doing all kinds of banal stuff to get positions. Politicians are groveling, just the bizarre to get positions, which sometimes they don't even give enough thought to whether they are prepared for. But in all of this, few people ask the question, where are the women? Few people ask the question, where are the young people? And they constitute a majority of the population of this country. When you exclude the most, be ready for the consequence, because that's what Nigeria is suffering today already. So, who better to get on this subject matter on than Women Arise herself?
Well, there's no country that can progress if more than half of the population is left behind. We see that at the level of decision making, women have not been taken into consideration. And if we want to talk about being effective, we're talking about inclusion, we're talking about progress. In all of this, women should be included. One thing that has really grieved my heart is that of life. Well, is that life remains sacrosanct. But let's take Leah Shoaibu for an example. More than 450 days, she's still with the terrorists. Again, a lot of our mothers, our sisters are still with the terrorists. What is government doing about it? But I just want to say that the Beijing thing, we talk about the affirmative action. How many women are in government?
Yeah.
We talk about children, young ones. We see that a lot of these young ones are now suicide prone. They are out of school, no job, and the next thing is suicide. The next thing is to engage in things that will take their life. So if we want to talk about progress, if we want to talk about being more inclusive, if we want to talk about having that positive output,
it's interesting to see that if you look at the countries that are being seen as having made significant progress, real progress in terms of quality of life of everybody, those countries tend to have used affirmative action very strongly in favor of women. Take Rwanda. Nigerians who go to Rwanda always come out marveling, oh, the streets are spotlessly clean, there's order in the society. I keep reading all kinds of stuff. I mean, I go back and forth through them myself, and I know what it is. You go to their parliament, and you see that there are probably even more women in cases in parliament holding positions. Half the cabinet are women, the this, the that, the that. Is it that Nigerian men are so retrogressive, or that we have a culture of selfishness that prevents us from looking at what is in the collective interest? What's your perspective as a young lady on this matter?
I think there's no true leadership in any government that excludes the gender that is made of over 50% of the population. And that brings me to, when you mentioned parliament, it brings me to this woman, Honorable Nkrumah, that is vying for the position of the speaker. So when I actually saw a profile, I was wondering, and I heard about stuff from her online, and I heard some people say, why should she be speaker? Because Patricia was there and she messed up. And I was like, why can't she? So it shouldn't be about the gender.
Several men have messed up.
Yes, exactly. So it shouldn't be about the gender. Is she qualified? Is she competent to handle that position? And the answer is right. It's true. So why? So the real issue is we should have more people. I don't know why people are just scared of calling out. When you ask for people to vie for a position, they're no, I don't want to be involved and all that. So
we're talking about decision making. Okay, look at the numbers of people that we have at the upper and the lower chambers. Far cry. I mean, out of 109 senators, you just have 7. Out of 360 that the House of Representatives, you just have 22. So when one person wants to come out to vie for position, at times getting that person to hit the target is almost like waiting for a picture in the calendar to shed tears. But this should not happen. And what
You've not seen the calendar in my office. It sheds tears.
Yeah, I think you are right. The projection for the population in 2019-2020 is 201 million, and the projection for youths generally is even in excess of 50-55%. Then if you look at that demographic and look at women, the women population is rising, let me put it that way. Women are rising.
Yeah.
Having said that, my dear ladies, truth must be told.
What's the truth?
The first truth is the fact that nobody is asking women to stay behind.
It's side by side now.
Nobody is also asking the youths not to come out. And if another truth is going to be told, I know a couple of things have come up from government, not too young to run bill, women inclusion, even disability bill. I think is the quality and the strength and the courage of our women. I'm a professional. I've sat in classes and women have beat me in academics. And there's no doubt about that. But when it now comes to issue of politics coming to take, I see a bit of our women a bit reticent. No, I don't know if it's a cultural issue. It's improving. The example of Rwanda that Pat mentioned, go to Kenya. Go and see what the women are doing in Kenya. Go together and see what some of the women are doing in. I think what we are just trying to say here is that I think we should. I don't want to use the word lower the bar, so that okay. I think there are many women in the professions. Perhaps they are scared.
You are not scared.
Perhaps they are scared of the unknown that politics can bring, and until we begin to do our politics in such a way that it makes sense.
There are many power asymmetries that are involved here. Our politics is not civilized. You have fascists emerging everywhere that want to totally dominate others. And the greatest victims of fascism are quote-unquote minorities of power, whether they be women, they be young people, and all of that. The resources are in the hand of a few of these fascists. And because they have the resources, and this is a society that is dominated by power money, they easily run out of town.
And it's brute form.
Yeah.
Brute form.
So it will take organizing, obviously, but it puts a heavier burden on them in terms of organizing to be able to use their numerical strength to overcome. So one has to acknowledge that. And the women didn't just jump to the fore in Rwanda. They found a leader like Paul Kagame, who recognized the importance of that inclusion. And it happened. So the question is, why can't our men recognize? I keep saying to people, Ubuntu, the African philosophy, I am because we are. The greatest self-interest is advanced within the advance of the common good of all. So can we as men not say to ourselves, what is the common good of Nigeria? And what role do groups that have been left out have? What role do they have to play? And how can we facilitate those for the good of all so that we can all profit as individuals even?
And taking it from where Prof stopped and just opposing it with yours, that probably women are scared stiff. One has seen, look at political parties. There should be a level playing ground. Politics is seen as do or die, and you'll find out that women are giving deputy this, deputy that, they are made spare tires. But not until, there must be that change of mindset. That mindset that recognizes women.
How many women are running for positions, say, in the National Assembly and the state assemblies? You have any statistic? I'm not up to speed.
Where they are,
The number is so low.
very, very low. I think not more than 5%. Not more than 5%. Within this, even current dispensation,
And Joe,
is
that is despite the fact that I know some political parties who have lowered, the fee that you pay for forms. We have really not seen the women coming out. I think we need. Okay, maybe I should change my language here. I think we need to encourage women to do the things they do in the homes.
But you see, look at corporate Nigeria.
We need women that will train children. We've seen women that train children. We've seen women that run enterprises in this country.
And the ones that beat their husbands.
The ones that beat their husbands are
Joe knows them.
those ones are not women.
They are few. We handle like.
But I think seriously, the previous government, I'm talking of Jonathan administration, for instance, promised an affirmative action that he was going to have so and so number of women in the cabinet. Buhari, in his first coming, also made that affirmation. Whether that affirmation is observed in
Indeed.
they are not doing what is expected, I think we need to continue to encourage them. And I'm happy, not because you are here. A lot of the things that you are doing in Women Arrive is encouraging some women to really want to come.
Why are you praising her? I'm the chairman of Women Arise.
Chairman of our property.
You see?
The only difference is that you are a man, she's a woman. and then taking that up front, I think generally, whether women or youths, the quality of the youth that we have, unfortunately.
I think hold that thought. Let's take a break, hear from the people out there, and come back and actually squarely look at the youth and look at issues of human trafficking. That is one of the ways we debase our women and all of that, and how the country seems to have abandoned its youth. We'll be right back.
When the government is saying that way, it will be reduced. The number of people that are just striving to get there.
As far as I'm concerned, Nigeria still has a long way to go in ensuring inclusion and diversity. A lot of women, or vast majority of youth in this country, are still tokenistically engaged, and with that, I wouldn't say we are doing anything about that. And I can't even see policies that are being implemented to foster inclusion of people living with disability. We thank God for that, of the people living with disability, but there is a need for us to work on youth inclusion, youth inclusive banking, youth inclusive leadership strategies, youth inclusion in high-level policy discussions and other likes.
We are back, and this is Potatoes Gang. We're talking about inclusion. Just in the run-up to the break, we talked about public offices and very few women being in contention. You mentioned a lady in the house.
Yes. I was going to.
Nkiru.
That's the next. Yes.
Yeah. What are her prospects? People are going to Mecca, going to all kinds of places to discuss speakership. To be very honest, I have to completely. I've lost interest in the whole matter. I don't even know who's running for what. Because the national politicians don't seem serious to me.
They come with, with all the juggle. Yes, Nkiru, and a couple of, in fact, the last election, we had some women that actually came out, and wanted to run for presidency for whatever reason.
Okay, yes.
The murky politics now drown them. And I was going to make the point about youths. We have creative youths. I don't believe that our youths are lazy. Yes, they are dysfunctional in some areas, but we've seen youths that have held their own at very, very, very high levels. Now, I always caution youths, please get yourself the knowledge, get yourself the experience, patch on the shoulders of giants. You do not need to invent any wheel. There are quite a number of mentors out there. And with that, you are at your promised land. But what I see in quite a number of youths, drugs notwithstanding, Yahoo notwithstanding, and the fact that the average youth believes that he wants to come from the university, and then the next day he now begins to ride a car and what have you, is warped. And so part of the mentoring is the fact that now we have the youth to run bill. It's been passed. I think the youth should take their tutelage and they should.
A lot of advice that we can give young people, we can give women and all of that. But we need to also ask ourselves, have we done enough as a generation for them? Have we done enough as governments, as a people for them? John Cardinal Onayekon, the Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, was on a BBC interview not long ago, and he was saying that the country has betrayed its youth. And give example of walking the streets of Rome, Naples, and all kinds of places in Italy. And that the young women who are being trafficked in, who are prostituting around the place, you try to interact with them, you find that they're stark illiterates. I mean, the country hasn't even bothered to educate its young people. That the only language, the only communication they have is how much before they are aware. And he was very, very pained by the experience. Anybody who has a conscience will be pained by that experience. And so the big question for us is, have we been fair to our women? Have we been fair to our youth?
I mean, just like what you alluded to, Prof, is very sad. Trafficking is on the increase. And one will want to interrogate the fact that, is there a nexus between poverty and trafficking?
Of course, there has to be.
So there's
People
a
are
nexus.
searching for any escape.
A lot of socioeconomic problems.
The educated are going to Canada.
Yes, so it's so sad, and I think in one breath, one will say that without fear of evil, that we have failed them, we have failed our youth, and something needs to be done. Good, we'll have like mentoring, we'll have like role models.
My friend Chris Ngige says that we have too many doctors, so let them go. Maybe we have too many youth and women, so maybe they should go.
No. We must not sacrifice them.
I think
we must
we
not,
failed,
because they are the leaders of today, not the leaders of tomorrow.
We have failed our youth because we have not shown good example.
Yes.
Our youth have seen us in ostentation that
Can't justify.
Some of them
poverty
then
in the
say,
land.
hey,
Yes.
maybe the shortcuts to wealth.
Those they see as role models are.
At
Yes.
the household level, I must also say that parents and guardians have failed the youths.
Yes, true.
They have, I know,
In both directions, by the way.
Onayekon, the cardinal mentioned, Wycliffe also came with statistics to indicate that some women and men have gone to the hinterland, to the rural areas, to go and harvest some of these girls, to throw them in the streets of Milan, the streets of Europe and America, to prostitutes. They have been doing this for years. It's been going on for years. And those who are conversant with some of the feedback that we are getting, some of them are used, not just dumped, even killed in the process, going through dehumanizing conditions that you can feel. This is gross failure. This is gross inhumanity of man to man. I also believe that at the end of the day, I started my point about saying that the projection for the population is going to 201 million.
Yeah.
We need to begin to look at our population control. We need to begin to look at the kind of our budgets that we earmark for education in line with development goals, objectives.
So that one of the best,
we can begin to
one of
train.
the best ways to have population control is to educate people.
Yeah.
They have an education. But first of all, the fact that they are going to school for so many years, by the time they finish all this school, they are nearly 30. So they can't have many more children after that to start with. Just as
Especially when universities are closing and strikes and what have you.
And then, on top of that, if they have proper education, they realize, wait a minute, I need to be able to take care of everyone that I have. And so, of their own, they will make effort in whatever ways that is suitable to their faith and whatever to ensure that they have a manageable number of children. But when we don't give them any education at all, and we just use them, we're going to have more and more people. So
I also think that there is a wake-up call for parents. We have some of our career women, we leave our young ones to the mercy of house helps. There's no special interest, there's no special care. If we were brought up that way, what would have this generation looked like? So parents must become more responsive and even the money that we are chasing, at the end, when we have those resources, what will happen to the young ones? What will happen to the children? Their cycle have been bruised, and they will have, the wrong company will have been kept. Some of them can even die in the process. Some of them will become hooked to drugs. So parents must sit up and must ensure that they give the young ones, sound upbringing. We're all born tabula rasa with our mind as blank as slate. It's when we start inculcating the right values, then we'll be able to.
you have to take your time. My mind is not like slate.
More importantly, I think trafficking, it breaks my heart really when you see a lot of things. Some young girls are made to sleep with dogs, different things. Some of them, when they are sick, they are thrown off there, and that's why it's education. When people have 80 of children, they don't even care. They can bring like 5-6 of them and say go with them. But with education, when they are better informed, when they are trained, then they will give back to the few that they can raise. But when we say there's a law now, okay, let's deal with population, then another crisis will start, and people will start giving reasons, different reasons.
Well, there's a role for civil society in this. There's a role for all kinds of NGOs to go around educating people, getting the system to hold accountable those who break the laws that are there, and so on and so forth. It's not just a government thing.
Exactly.
It's a rule for everybody.
Yes, I've said, we've talked about parents, even religious organizations. People go to church, they go to mosque. Let's use our pulpit. Let's preach the sermon that people will get to hear, and they will feel humble. So we all have roles to play, and it's important we do that, because if we fail our youth, then we don't have any future. We don't have any today. And you find out that those people who keep their children, very, very safe, those are the ones that were called area boys, area girls. They are the ones that will come and they will meet on the streets. Yeah. And at the end, life will become unbearable for those ones, and some of them, unfortunately, might lose their lives. So it's a collective responsibility.
Yeah. Again, we've talked about parenting as a very critical factor in this whole thing, and it plays two ways. Sometimes we overparent, sometimes we underparent. We are focused on the underparenting, but it's a very major phenomenon of many of the elite who are embarrassed that they can't spend enough time with their children and make up for it by giving them more money than a person at that age reasonably should have. Because of that, the children lose the sense of the values that is required to live it. And those kids will find that they are being overtaken by the kids from the streets.
Exactly.
So I think parents also have to learn a trick or two. Anyway, time is out. We've got to go. But this is a very important subject matter, and I hope that people can keep thinking about it and keep talking about it, so that something can be done by each and every one of us in our circle of influence. So we can stop this kind of treatment of our fellow human beings. This is a society that has to have more inclusion, more women affirmatively pushed into positions of authority. Let's vote a woman as speaker. Come on, why not? Patricia Etete cannot be the reason why we shouldn't do it. And who says that she did anything worse than many of the men there have done? Okay, it's time to go. We'll be right back.